Okay, so I guess I'll do UCF first, because there's two things. So, UCF stands for Universal Controller Fixing. So, there's a thing in Melee where I don't know if you guys are super into Melee, because obviously you're my fans and I don't play Melee anymore. I don't really care. So, it's a mod on 20XX, as far as I'm aware, I might be wrong. It's a mod on 20XX which allows for the differences in controllers to not exist, because there's a fundamental difference in controllers based on just the random minute differences, like super minute differences that happen through production, such as dash backing and shield dropping. So if the stick is placed slightly different, you know, the dash back example, you know, there was good controllers that can do it, you know, this is out of 20 times, right? So there was some controllers, you know, there's I think like 10% of the controllers that are created can do it 90% plus, and obviously all these percentages degrade over time, which is the problem. So there's controllers that can dash back correctly about 90% of the time. There's a large portion of them that can only dash back about 65% of the time, so like 13 out of 20. Then there's some like exceptionally bad ones that are like, you get it like 9 out of 20, and that's really, really bad. So because of those fundamental differences, a lot of people in Melee go like dashing back is literally just harder for no reason. It's not even like it's the game saying it's hard, it's the controllers being bad. And also shield dropping, which is similar, like if it's slightly different, then sometimes the shield dropping doesn't really work the way it's supposed to. And that's, you know, why the famous recent debate of the Arduino mods with that Hacks brought up is a thing, because you can essentially widen those ranges for both dash backing, which is actually, you know, instead of every 1 frame the direction's read, it's every 2 frames, and so you can dash back a lot easier instead of getting just a turnaround, as well as bigger shield drop angles. And then Arduino also has like better, like perfect Firefox angles, perfect wave dash angles, perfect ledge dash angles. So that wasn't exactly what was used. It wasn't the Arduino, it was better, it was the Universal Controller Fix, which helps shield drop and backdash as far as I'm aware, and that's it. I don't think it has any other stuff. I might be wrong. I'm not super read up on it. So, months ago, the TOs of Shine were like, we're going to use this. So those were the rules. Even though, you know, it's not vanilla Melee. It's close enough, but it's not exactly the same thing, right? Obviously, because you can be more confident in dash back. So if your character plays a chain drop like Marth, like Fox, you know, that's better for you if you're a person that likes to shield drop a lot, such as like Plup, like all the pros pretty much. But then also the people that like don't have enough money for like a typo controller, they're able to do it more consistently, which is good, right? I think that's fine. Like, I don't have a problem with things like UCF or Arduino or anything like that. That's just my stance on it. I'm also completely okay with things like the Smashbox, you know, the BOXX, whatever. So that that was the rules, and every single setup was played by 20XX. You would load it, and then it would be fine. Unfortunately, when Top 8 started, they didn't load it with the thing in the first set, which was Chudat versus Leffen. They played the whole set. Chudat wins 3-2, reverse 3-0. Then the other loser set plays, which is Johnny versus Shroom. They turned it on, I guess. I don't really know. I wasn't watching Melee. I was at a bar. So that happened. And then also, I think they fixed it, and then the winner sets would happen, and then they were like, oh, we're gonna redo the entire set. So it was essentially a 0.9 debacle, right? Where Dabuzz and Zero and Captain Zack, or Dabuzz Zero and Captain Zack Como played with the incorrect rules at Genesis 4. So at that point, in that one, the TOs decided to do the last game of the set, because like they didn't notice before, and it's like, whatever, we can just redo the last set, because that's when Como noticed. So they do that, or the last game, and that's what they did, and then Zack won again, and Como was really upset, blah, blah, blah. We know the whole drama, right? Dabuzz and Zero just got fucked. Like, sorry, Dabuzz. Like, you just got bodied. Like, that's super unfortunate. But in this case, they redid the whole set, so I don't agree with that, personally. I think if you do not notice that something is wrong, like, if you think something is even slightly wrong, it's like, man, I'm not dashing back correctly, or I'm not, shield dropping correctly, and I know, like, of course, like, these players are good enough to the point where they're probably not messing it up a whole bunch, especially with the mod that makes it easier. So I think, hey, check it. If it's on, it's on. If not, you redo that game, or if you notice it mid-set, then maybe start the set over. But, like, he lost. Leffen was, like, I literally saw him, because we were going to the bar, and we see Leffen outside walking, and I'm like, oh, I guess Chew that one, which is what I made the tweet about, and that got taken the wrong way. I was just like, we saw him, and I was like, to my group, like, yo, let's go Chew, because I like Chew that a lot. Leffen noticed the game before and didn't say anything, because he's an idiot. That's his fault. 100%. So that happened, and I feel like, I don't know, I don't necessarily agree with the fact that they redid the whole thing. I think in point 9 they shouldn't have, like, I think redoing the last game was fine, because Como obviously noticed right then. He was like, wait, that totally should have killed, because he, you know, had like a few throw confirms that like he didn't kill, and it was like, whoa, those definitely should have killed. That's when he noticed in game 4, and then they redid game 4. I think that's fine. But like, Leffen left the venue, comes back in, like, that's, no. I really do not like the replaying of sets. If you guys do not, if the players do not notice something is wrong, don't do it. Also, the fact that it's not the, like, it wasn't the TOs that said, hey, we're gonna redo this because whoops, the rules were wrong. It became a player agreement, and it should never be a player agreement ever, because you have social status and you have like the fact, like, being a homie or being cool about it. It's like, oh well, I can't believe that you actually didn't say no to the replay when the rules were different. Like, you should never be put in that situation. It should always be the TO saying do this or don't do this, because the TOs are the ones that should have put it there in the first place. Like, they should have made sure it was right. If the players notice, then they can do something, but it's 100% the TO's fault that this happened. Like, you hear Chu say, hey, we are agreeing to do this replay. Not the TOs going, yep, we're making the Matador do a replay. As far as I'm aware, I might be wrong, but I don't think it should ever be replayed, ever. Because if you shake hands at the end of the set, then you are agreeing to the results of that set. And I'm sure, just like at Genesis 4, Chudan is going to be paid what Leffen made as well, so he's going to be paid 5th place. Because I think that's what Como did too. They paid him what Zach made, and also a little bit more financial compensation, especially because he was from Japan, right? So it's like, oh well, you went all this way to have your tournament experience soiled. Please come back next year. Let's give you like $1,000. So I don't know. I think the whole situation is stupid. I don't really agree. I never agree to replaying a set. Ever. I think it was stupid when Zach did it, and I tweeted about that plenty of times. I was like, this is stupid, the TOs are dumb, I can't believe they're doing this, this is actually, like, not okay. And then in this situation, it's the same thing. Except this one's worse, because they replayed the whole set instead of just the game. Like, the last game. That was stupid, that's stupid. Because the amount of adaptation you can do between games 1 and 5 of the first set and then bring it into the next set is ridiculous. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Like, hell, even, you know, I had a slightly different situation with whatchamacallit. At Genesis 4, a lot of the brackets were messed up, and they told me to play Aito, the Meta Knight main from NorCal. You know, I beat him, and then the TOs were like, oh, well, you played the wrong set, play another one. And I went, no, if you guys messed up and told me to play this person and didn't realize it was that person for the entire set, you don't tell me that it's wrong, and then after the set, and after my opponent that I beat leaves because it was a loser's bracket, then you tell me to replay as someone else? No, that's super incorrect. Do not do that. And I stood there and I went, you're not going to make me replay the set. Bring the TOs over. I will bet your ass I will get this decision to stay. And they were like, yeah, you're right. Also, how do you just not check the settings before the game? Like, especially after point 9 is a thing? How are you as a melee TO not going to make sure that this doesn't happen to your game? Because this is actually worse. Because we have no idea who could have messed up the point 9 thing. Whether it was the TOs, whether it was the players accidentally scrolling past it and clicking it. There's so much more variability. But you know that Leffen and Chu aren't going to go to the 20XX thing and turn it off. How do you mess that up after having a huge debacle over Genesis 4? How are you going to let that happen to your tournament?